Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mukam Karoti Vacharam Pangum Langate Yat Kripatamam Mande Shri Guru Nirantaran Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram. So welcome dear devotees for our continuation of presentation of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur's life history. So we stopped here. I think this was where we stopped last week. Give me a minute. Okay. So we stopped here last
week. 44 years. 44 years में संन्यास लिया तब से.
Yeah.
वहाँ पे हमने stop किया. हाँ मैडम.
This is the 44 year only. I'll show you. See, this is the 44 years. We finished this, yes. Then we came here. We saw this. Then this is the Swanan Sukhat Kunj, and all these devotees joined Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. This is the first 5 devotees who joined. Yeah. So the first 4 was the 44 years. First 4 we took sannyas, and then he established the Chaitanya Mutt and all that. And then the 5 dedicated devotees joined him. And then we saw how he initiated 2 disciples near Khulna, and then he established a Bhakti Vinodasan center for Vaishnava gathering. So that is what we saw in the first 4. Now we are coming to the 5th point. I think we finished this also, but anyway, I will just recap this one. There was one Pandit or a Brahmin called Ram Gopal Vidyabhushan. So he used to visit Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati very often, but he had this problem. He used to chew tobacco constantly. Tambaku, we say, right? Tobacco. He used to chew that constantly, and he would dress very fashionably. And this is very much seen in the Bengali. When they dress very nicely, and also they chew tobacco. This is very common. So Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati told him that what you do is you go far away in the field and you offer the best of your tobacco to Krishna. It is not mentioned, it is not that Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur said that we all should offer tobacco to Krishna. But his idea was that Krishna is the only enjoyer. So he told him Krishna is the only enjoyer. We cannot, but if we try to enjoy it ourselves, what will happen? It will gradually reduce our sensory potency. Means our senses, the potency of our senses to enjoy, that will be gradually reduced if we keep on enjoying it ourselves, and our humanness also will go down. So our sensory potency also will go down, humanness will also go down. So that's why the senses are not meant for enjoying, but senses are given to us to serve Krishna with those senses, just like Ambarish Maharaj served Krishna with all his senses. So like that, with all our senses, we have to serve Krishna. That is why the senses are given to us and not for enjoyment. So when he heard this, it pierced his heart. And then immediately he gave up his lifelong habit of chewing tobacco and dressing opulently. And he surrendered to Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. So powerful was Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur's, the way he spoke, and his purity was so much that it just immediately touches the heart. So in June of 1918, we are doing 1918 now. So when he was 44 years old, in June, he performed Harikatha and Nam Sankirtan all over Mayapur. And how many devotee disciples he had? 23 disciples at that time. Just the beginning, right? It's just the beginning of when he took sannyas, that very year only. And on a preaching tour to Orissa. They went to Orissa and then they all of them attended the Rath Yatra. So this was like a nice outing and a very spiritual and very enhanced their spiritual mood. So then when they returned back to Calcutta, after which there was one very foolish person who came to argue with Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. He argued that he came with 25 questions. Then, what is your relationship with Bhakti Vinod Thakur? What is your relationship with Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj? Actually, who is taken initiation from whom? And Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur immediately, he furiously routed him out. I mean, said, and immediately defeated him in all ways. You know, then see, this is teaching to us, because even now at this present moment, also, if you see on the internet, they will say your parampara is not bona fide because somebody didn't take initiation from somebody, and this way. So it is like very unfortunate that people even at this stage and this time are coming up with so many ideas. But Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur was very strong and very immediately rooted him out and sent him away with very strong points. He established the Bhaktivinoda Asan. Now we should know Bhaktivinoda Asan. Again, we should remind ourselves Bhaktivinoda Asan means Namahatta, something like Namahatta at that time. Later on, when the temples were started building, the Bhaktivinoda Asan became called as Gaudiya Math. So at the Ulta Danga junction, now you see this. That time it was called Ulta Dingi. Now it's called Ulta Danga. So this is the Ulta Danga junction you see in the photo below. And in this, they rented this whole place. This was a three-story building. Of the rent was 50 rupees per month at that time, very very expensive. His disciples were, many of them were grahastas, so they occupied the second floor, and one of them, uh, I think Kunja Bihari Prabhu, I'm not sure, one of them, he committed that he will pay half of the, that means 25 rupees at that time. And he told them, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur told them that they should just preach and money will come. So this was his motto: depend on Krishna, money will come, you just preach. So this is what he was very very strongly convinced about. Then, uh, at that time, there were very prestigious newspapers. So they were all regularly. They had printed his lectures, his articles. They were all coming out, and people got to know he's a very popular sadhu. Then they were also publishing books. They were preaching vigorously, going out door to door, preaching activities every day. They were doing preaching. All his 23 disciples at that time, and they were growing. And books were being published at the same time. And many more devotees joined. Because the preaching was so strong, many more devotees joined. Then, this fight among the Jati Goswami and the Vaishnavas is a long drawn fight. It's all the time they keep coming up, and trying to oppose. So there was this Priyanath Nandi. This Priyanath Nandi was a Jati Gosai. He was a spokesman for them, and he was very powerful speaker. And he was in a village in Jessore. So he was given a title Bhakti Vinod by his guru. So he everywhere went around saying, he's Bhakti Vinod, Bhakti Vinod. Then this was intolerable for Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, because he was first of all Jati Gosai, and then he's getting mixed up with Vaishnava title. And then he defeated him in Jessore in a village. He went there and he defeated him, thoroughly defeated him. And they came back very triumphantly, came back to Mayapur again with the Calcutta, with this Ulta Danga junction, with their victory. So this happened, and he was so strong. once he was invited to Kashi for a strong debate. He was in for a debate, and he was so strong and bold, and he was tough, and he was always right. Always in all the debates, he was right. Always he would win. Then the opposing scholars were actually afraid to come and face him. So one day he was invited at Kashi for a debate, and he said he accepted the invitation. He said, "I'm ready. I will come." Half an hour later, one of the persons who were organizing, they came and told him that he should not refer to Srimad Bhagavatam in his debate. He said, "Okay, I'm ready." Then again, after half an hour, they came and told, "You cannot even refer to Ramayana and Mahabharata." He said, "Yes, I'm ready." Then again, half an hour later, again they came and they said, "You can also not refer to any of the Vedas. You have to refer to the Vedanta Sutra only." He said, "Yes, I'm ready." Hearing this, they all came and they cancelled the debate. So they cancelled the debate. Can you imagine? They were so afraid of facing Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. He was such a powerful speaker. Then the next year, in February, uh, he re-established the Vishwa Vaishnava Rajya Sabha. Now, this Vishwa Vaishnava Rajya Sabha is, we saw what Bhaktivinoda Thakur had started, where all the Vaishnavas will come from all over the world and they will speak about Krishna. So this was held every year, and this was chaired by the Tripura kings. Now you see one of the kings over there in the picture. He is one of the Tripura kings. He had come for this Vishwa Vaishnava Raj Sabha. So he went to Mayapur, Sridham, for Gaura Purnima celebrations, and there he bathed the devotees with his lectures. Wonderful lectures. The devotees were mesmerized, they were absolutely absorbed. And then what he did, he inaugurated the Bhakti Shastri examinations. Or some of us would have done the Bhakti Shastri examination. So the inauguration was done of this by Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. See, later on, I'll come to the points of how Bhaktivinoda Thakur wanted him to, what he wanted him to do. So one of them was this Bhakti Shastri examination to be inaugurated. And then he also inaugurated the celebrations of Disappearance Day of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur at Swanand Sukhad Kunj. We saw Swanand Sukhad Kunj just now. I mean, not the song, but we saw the photo where he had Pushpa Samadhi made for Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Yes. So there he first time they started celebrating disappearance days. This is called Tirobhav Mahotsav. So Tirobhav Mahotsav was not performed before this, not celebrated before this. So this was, he inaugurated this, and then he established the deity of Bhaktivinoda Thakur. If some of us would have gone to Godrum Dweep on a parikrama, you would have gone to Swanand Sukhad Kunj, you would have seen the deity of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur in his Samadhi. Very beautiful deity. So that deity also he established, and he delivered a speech on how to worship the Acharya's form, how to worship the deity of an Acharya. So he gave a very wonderful speech on this. So this is, and the next year again, the Gaudiya Mutt name that was coined in. So this long Vishwa Vaishnava Raj Sabha and all that was now start with coin became replaced by Gaudiya Mutt. No more the Bhakti Vinodasana and Vishwa Vaishnava Raj Sabha. All this was replaced by Gaudiya Mutt. So now this came into existence when he was around 46 years old. Then many new brahmacharis joined in, and they were trained very nicely, and they were sent out to preach in Bengal and Orissa. So at that time it was not, it was not Bangladesh. It was East Bengal and West Bengal. So he was sending them out to, in Bengal means we should think of West Bengal right now. East Bengal will come soon. Then he was constantly preaching, traveling, lecturing, and he was answering challenging questions. So people were asking questions, very challenging questions, and he would answer all of them. He was, we know he was a walking encyclopedia, and he soon became a reputed, sought after sadhu. That means everybody wanted to take initiation from him, associate with him, and take a diksha and all these things. So everybody was looking up to him. So he was sought after sadhu. So then, traveling parties were sent. They were sent out to preach in very distant places like villages. Bangladesh is full of, sorry, Bengal is full of villages. So West Bengal, they were sent, and Odisha also full of villages, so very distant villages, so that nobody goes to there and nobody approaches them. So he used to send his traveling sankirtan parties. So that's when he started this. uh, uh, Traveling Sankirtan parties were sent to the remote places also, villages also. And this type of aggressive preaching was very revolutionary. Nobody has done that before. We have heard of the missionaries of the Christians doing this, but here Vaishnavas preaching was not done like that. So this was one of very revolutionary. So he was everybody was in awe and reverence. See, such a powerful personality, and because of his willpower and his uncommon influence, uh, what happened? There was this famous Chittaranjan Das, if you have heard. Srila Prabhupada also quoted him many times. So he gave him the title Acharya Kesari. Acharya Kesari, or later on became known as Lion Guru, or Simha Guru, they used to call him, but actually the name was given by this Chittaranjan Das. So he gave him that name. So then another thing which Bhaktivinoda Thakur asked him to do was to reintroduce Naudvip Dham Parikram. So at that time, Gaud Mandal Parikram was being done. Gaud Mandal Parikram means all the Gaudiya places. Even goes to Bangladesh and Orissa. But only Navadvip Dham. Remember, we did once little bit of the Parikram, nine islands, Navadvip Dham Parikram, which Nityananda Prabhu led Jiva Goswami into. Yes. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur also asked him to introduce this, and he reintroduced the Navadvip Dham Parikram, which became very popular. And then he established Gandharvika Giridhari and Mahaprabhu worship at Ulta Danga. Now it's called Sri Gaudiya Math. So now we know Gandharvika Giridhari Mahaprabhu were established where? In Ulta Danga, in Calcutta. Later on, they were brought to Rajpatana. Now they are being worshipped in Mayapur, in the Mashir. I showed you the temple last week. So the previous deities which I showed was in Jagannath Puri. There also they established Mahaprabhu and Radha Vinod. So here he established Gandharvika Giridhari and Mahaprabhu. So on the sixth year of disappearance of Bhaktivinoda Thakur, his wife and Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur's mother, that is Srimati Bhagavati Devi, she left this world. And from where? From the same Bhakti Bhavan, if we remember. Very powerful place. And just before she left, she told Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur that her desire was that the holy name of Shriman Mahaprabhu should be spread all over the world. So that was her desire. That holy name of Gauranga must be spread, broadcast all over the world. So now this person, this happened. Then then at that day, that occasion, she was given samadhi in Yoga Peeth only. If you go to Yoga Peeth even today, um, There is this Gornitai deity and Lakshmi Narasimha deity. So at the previously they were in a different position, but now they are very grandly built the temple. Previously, when they were built, this temple was built below this temple, the small temple which hosted Gaur Nitai and um, Lakshmi Narasimha, and below that they had given samadhi to Srimati Bhagavati Devi. So he also excavated two lakes. One was Gaurakund. You see in the picture, that is Gaurakund. Gaurakund is just next to Yogapit. And another one is Radha Kund at Chaitanya Mutt. There's one more kund he excavated. He called it Radha Kund. And on the banks of Radha Kund, he kept the samadhi of later on. Right now, it was in um, Navadvip area, right? Kulia, that place he had made the samadhi of his spiritual master, Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj. Later on, when the Ganga came and overflooded, then they had to relocate the samadhi, and they relocated it to this Radha Kund at Sri Chaitanya Mutt. That we will see later. Then there was this we spoke about this person called Priyanath Nandi. He was um, that spokesperson for the Jati Gosais. So he and one Babaji, they got together and they complained to the police that Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur had instigated some dacoits, and they were created some disturbance, the dacoits. So then in December of this year, what happened? He was the police, it was revealed in the court that this was a conspiracy. They wanted to tar his name, and they wanted to send him to prison. So this was then it was revealed in the court and everything was settled. So he faced a lot of opposition, because one of the things which Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur told him was to crush the Apasampradayas. So we will come to that later. Then he started this year, restarted the work. Remember when he was 14 years old, he had started the Vaishnava Manjusha to start work on that. So he started it again, the Vaishnava Encyclopedia, with the. So what happened one day? This Maharaja of Kashim Bazar, you remember that big palace which I showed you? So this Maharaja of Kashim Bazar, he was still very, very disturbed, because once Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur had come to his house and he had not eaten anything for 4 days. So he was feeling very bad. So he again approached him, and he said, please, please, you come to my palace, please. And whatever you want, I will give you. Whatever you want, I will give you. And this way, then Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur thought that, okay, I want to do this Vaishnava Manjusha. For the sake of this Vaishnava Manjusha, I will do anything. So he went and he spoke to the Maharaja in his palace. He went there, took his hospitality, and then he told him what he wanted. He said he wanted, I don't know how many lakhs of rupees. So at that time he was taken aback. He said, I don't have that much money, but every month I will give you 300 rupees for this Vaishnava Manjusha. So that was agreed upon. But this Jati Gosais were totally had him under his control, this Maharaja of Kashim Bazar. So they told him, hey, you're giving him this money. And immediately the next day only, he came and told, no, 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 I can't give you 300, I'll give you 200. So, okay, at least something was there. So he was giving for some time, and then he stopped. And then because they were opposing him like anything, so these Jati Gosais were telling him not to do it, not to do it. So finally, he after a few months he stopped supporting. But all, although 4 volumes were published, but it was not completed. Vaishnava Manjusha was not completed. Then in September, he initiated his first sannyas disciple. first sannyas disciple, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, initiated and sent him to Dhaka. Now, Dhaka is still now in East Bengal, not yet Bangladesh. It is still in India only. So he sent him to Dhaka to preach, and the caste gurus at there, they already knew that there's going to be some danger. And then what they said, they instructed their disciples that don't give these people any shelter, don't give them food, don't give them even water, as if you give them anything then it will offend their gurus, means their own gurus and their ancestors. So then think, hearing all this, because people are very naive, people are very submissive over there. So these jati gosais are very much caste gurus. They're very much at that time they were very powerful, they kept all these people under their grip. So because of that, nobody was giving them any attention at all. No food, no shelter, nothing, no, not even water. But Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur told them, you preach. And even if you have to drink water from the river and preach, you just preach. But not only that, along with that, he also gave a letter. He gave them a letter. It is like a very pleading letter to the Dhaka residents. And you just, the letter was very powerful, very pleading, very nice letter. And then we changed the minds of the residents of Dhaka. And soon the educated youth all started joining, and then they started getting support from there also. So then he was actually not well at that time. He had ill health. He had some huge carbuncle which he couldn't even let him sleep properly, and he also had developing hernia problem, and in this way he was suffering. But his disciples told him that why don't you go, because he was preaching even in spite of all this, went on preaching, and went on preaching. And after Gaur Purnima, then so many disciples were saying they saw the condition of their spiritual master, they couldn't take it. They said, please, you recoup, go to Bhuvaneshwar, there's some medicated water, the Ayurvedic doctors over there recommend some particular water from some particular uh, water source, and they say that it is very helpful. So you go to Bhuvaneshwar and you recoup. But he went to Bhuvaneshwar, but he couldn't recover. And then finally, when he was shifted to Jagannath Puri in May, then he recovered, because the weather there was very suitable and very congenial for Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. There he did a publication of a book also, Acharo Acharya. Now this book is like a questions answers book, and it's an analysis of the qualifications of a bona fide guru. So who is a bona fide guru? Not discussed gurus. So who is a bona fide guru? And this book got them a very strong hold in East Bengal. So East Bengal, they were only under the grip of this caste gosais, caste gurus. So they got a grip by this book. This book was very wonderful. So in October, they visited Dhaka, going out every day on Sankirtan. He visited Dhaka. So after so long, he regained his health back. The moment he regained his health back, he went out uh, to preach. So he visited Dhaka, and he went out every day on Sankirtan. So there he was looking for a place. Then they found a big house, very roomy house on a very prominent road, but it was ghostly haunted. So it was vacant. So immediately Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur occupied it and installed the deities of Guru Gauranga and called it Madhav Gaudiya Math. So from now onwards, you will see so many Gaudiya Maths coming up. You remember that Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur established 64 Gaudiya Maths. So we will see quite a few now. So this was called Madhav Gaudiya Math. So then he was daily giving. Now this is there's a Radha Krishna temple. So in Kartik, he used to give a lecture daily and explained the first verse of Srimad Bhagavatam in 30 ways. So, more than 1 month, he gave only the first verse of Srimad Bhagavatam. First verse, only that. And he would, unprecedented ways, he would give wonderful lectures every day, only on one verse. Such was his prowess. Then, preaching door to door, his disciples were going door to door and they were making significant gains. So many people were joining, so they were making good progress. So, uh, in June 1922, now he's around this area, 47 to 49 years of age. So, in June 1922, they established one more Gaudiya Mutt. That was called Purshi Purushottam Gaudiya Mutt. And where was this? Of course, Jagannath Puri. In that Bhakti Kuti, you remember? Where Bhakti Vinod Thakur had built for his bhajan? Yeah. So he built a Purushottam Gaudiya Mutt by installing deity of Mahaprabhu. Then on 23rd of September of the same year, 22, he had after a long Sankirtan party, Sankirtan, and everybody was sleeping. What happened? A fire broke out and there were huge flames everywhere. So was sleeping. So Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur told them, just protect the deities and his library. Uh, then don't worry about him. But of course, how can they? They were worried about him first. But it was soon put off. There was no significant damage. There was nothing. It was just a case of arson because they couldn't take it that he was so powerful and he was preaching like this, and oppositions they couldn't take it. So they saw that these bunches of straw which was burnt, like they were strewn all around, so they knew that somebody had purposely put this place on fire. Then the next year in 1923, he inaugurated the construction of a new temple at which place? Sri Chaitanya Mutt. Which is Sri Chaitanya Mutt? Sri Chaitanya Mutt is that Mashir Badi where he did that Nam Jap, Shatakoti Nam Jap, that place. Now where his Samadhi is, that place in Mayapur. So he started the construction of that temple. And in August, he established the Gaudiya printing works in Calcutta. Calcutta is the Ulta Danga. Okay, and here he established a Gaudiya printing works. So then the next year, uh, actually, in between, I should mention this that in 1922, uh, our Srila Prabhupada met with him, and all day he was thinking of him, of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, as his spiritual master. And then there was this Dr. Bose, who was our Srila Prabhupada's father's friend. So he was thinking why this person has become Gandhian, why he has given up his education, because Srila Prabhupada gave up his everything, because Gandhi said, give up this education and give the bachelor's degree, everything, give it up. We don't want all this what the Britishers are giving. Give up their way of dressing. Dress in dhoti kurta, dress in khadi. So Srila Prabhupada was very influenced by this Gandhian movement at that time. And this Dr. Bose, he said, why have you given up everything? I will offer you a manager's post in my company. And that's how Srila Prabhupada at that time was a manager in Dr. Bose's laboratory, which Prabhupada many times mentions. And this is the time when he met with His Divine Grace, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. And all day he was thinking of him as his spiritual master. So much more can be said, but lack of time about this. Then we'll go to jump to the next year, that is 24 to 25. This was very monumental. This year was a golden jubilee celebration. How come? Because Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur was 50 years old. So they decided that they'll perform a Vyasa Puja. So for the first time, Pranam mantras were chanted. So which Raksha Mataji chanted last week. So that was the Pranam mantra which were chanted for Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. For the first time, his Pranam mantra was chanted. And they toured and traveled and preached in the entire Gauda Mandal this year. This year was very. Then there was a murderous attack. People couldn't tolerate. They were so jealous. These Jati Goswamis, they were so jealous. Caste Goswamis. So now this was the fifth annual Navdvip Mandal Parikrama. Okay, but what happened when they were on the parikrama? Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur said this time he had around 700 disciples at that time, women also, men also. So they all 700 of them went to Kulia. Now Kulia is the what to say the place of these caste Goswamis. Is the headquarters of this caste Goswamis. So they went to Kulia, and they, because this was the Navdvip Mandal Parikram, and he brought all his 700 disciples there. But then they also brought an elephant and Radha Madhav deities on top of the elephant, just like now we have elephant procession in Mayapur every Saturday. So, like this, they brought the elephant and the deities also there. So when they went there, when there was a parikrama, the lectures were being given by his disciples. So when the lecture was being given, they started throwing all kinds of uh, brickbats and all kinds of stones and cow dung and don't know what rubbish and everything they were throwing on the devotees. But the devotees didn't retaliate. They just quietly they went away, and that was during the attack which happened. But the next day, because this was during the class was being given, right? So they came and they attacked some hooligans. They came, so they just quickly dispersed and they went off. But the next day, when they were doing parikrama, again when the class was being given, again they were attacked. This time the attack was even more strong, and when somebody was like came to say, how come you are attacking the Vaishnavas? At this time there was one very rich person there. He came in his car. In those days car was like very. He came in his car and then he said something very loudly, and then from nowhere all these were hiding somewhere in the corners, nook and corners, and some places. They all came out with big dandas, and they started hitting the devotees, and so many devotees were hurt. They were hitting them with whatever they got, and this way the devotees initially they ran away, but nobody was opening the doors to help them to and they were not even able to go across the river also. Nobody was bringing them across, and this was a whole riot was taking place over there. And immediately there was one kind gentleman who opened his door for Srila Bhakti with Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur and his disciple who was wearing white. So his disciple said to his Guru Maharaj, please change clothes. We will change clothes. You wear white, I will wear your sannyas clothes. And then nobody will know that it is you, because they are coming to attack you. So immediately they changed clothes, and when he was wearing white, nobody was recognizing him, and he escaped. But this dancer Thakur escaped from that place, uh, and then the police came. Then they complained to the police, and the police came, and then they were from that year onwards, because they were saying, why are you doing this? They started attacking the elephant. Then the Mahut, he took the elephant away. They brought down the deities. They thought at least they would bring down the deities, they will stop, but they didn't stop. In this way the riot was going on, and then the police came and everything was settled. And then the next day everyone came to know that this attack had happened, and they were trying to kill the Vaishnavas, and who were the ones, they were the caste Goswamis who were responsible. And overnight their credibility was gone. They lost whatever the credibility they had little bit, that also was lost. So all the newspapers everywhere, the front page, this news was there, that they were attacked, they were attacked, they were attacked, and all their credibility was lost. So after that, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur was asked to comment on this, and to which he didn't say anything much about the caste Goswamis. But only thing he said was that I will not say anything against them, because if they had not done this, we would how would we have come on the front page of all the newspapers? So then he gave them that, and that was the end of it. After that, every year there were around 30 police uh, people who always accompanied the Navdeep Mandal Parikrama, so that this will not take place again. So we will stop for 5 minutes over here, then we'll continue. Take a 5 minutes break. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, welcome back. So, we now go to the year 1926 to 33. So, when he was 52 to 59 years of age. So, now rapidly, there were a lot of mutts being set up, established. Sanatan Gaudiya Mutt in Banaras was established in 1926, and there was another Sachinandan Gaudiya Mutt in Cuttack in the same year. So Orissa and Uttar Pradesh, everywhere they were just going and establishing. Then in the next 2 years, 1928, there was this Vyasa Gaudiya Mutt. So this Vyasa Gaudiya Mutt was in Kurukshetra. So at that time, around 1 million people got the blessed darshan, and first time they witnessed an abhishek and a theistic exhibition. Now you see on the top there is one. These are the dioramas, theistic exhibitions which were put up, very revolutionary by Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. Before that, nobody had done this. Now even now you can see when you go to Mayapur also, inside the temple there is a exhibition, right? Yes, so like that, they were first time they were introduced by Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, and then he visited Kali temple in Thaneshwar. Now you'll be thinking why he visited the Kali temple, because he then told the devotees that this Kali temple is none other than the same deity which killed the dacoits, and she saved Jada Bharat. Do you remember in the Srimad Bhagavatam we have this episode of Jada Bharat being kidnapped by the dacoits, and the Narabali was supposed to be given for him, and that time the deity came out. Mother Kali came out from her deity and she killed all these dacoits and saved Jada Bharat. So this was the temple. So he visited that temple, and also he visited one Saint Jagannath's. There was one Baba Jagannath Baba. His house also he visited. Then he told that that is where Lord Chaitanya he revealed his mood of separation to Jagannath. Okay, so in this person's house, and this person was later born as Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj. So that is the connection. So very powerful place, Kurukshetra. And also he visited the Shukatala where Shukadev Goswami had spoken the Srimad Bhagavatam. That is also there. So that was wonderful. Then in he also on the same year he laid the foundation for the most wonderful Bagh Bazar Gaudiya Mutt in Calcutta. See the Bagh Bazar Gaudiya Mutt. Amazing, isn't it? Amazing temple. Even if you go now they're even further developing it with a huge, massive exhibition hall and all that. They have. We went to see it. I think last year or year before last, when this construction was going on. It's a massive temple, huge temple, and it's a very wonderful, very beautiful place. If you ever go to Calcutta, please don't miss this temple. You will be escorted to the room of His Divine Grace Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, where he left from that place, and his room was there where he lived for so many years. And it is such a powerful place. You can feel the vibrations. Wonderful place. So please don't miss this place. So this Bagh Bazar Gaudiya Mutt was like so huge and so wonderful even at that time. And people, I wanted to read you the there's one poem which he composed. uh, so there were some 25,000 people were estimated to who had come there for the inauguration of this, and 25,000 people, and there was a parade, and there was some nice distinct sections, or 43 distinct sections were made of these people, and This, they were all the dignitaries and all were singing this poem, which was composed by none other than Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. And I just want to sing this poem for you. मातल हरिजन विषय रंगे पूजल रागपथा गौरव भंगे भ्रमल छाड़ी भोग चिन्मय भंगे धावल पति पति भकत संगे छाड़ल पर घर अचित गंगे भुजल रसनिते नाचो ढंगे मातल हरिजन विषय रंगे पूजल रागपथा गौरव भंगे. So can you imagine 25,000 people singing this? What was the meaning of this? Meaning is, although apparently absorbed in material affairs, that means Gaudiya devotees, no, they were always asking for donations, give money, give money. So, although they were appeared like that, they were absorbed in money matters, but Hari's own people were actually worshipping on the spontaneous path and thus broke the mood of reverential worship. So instead of just simply worshipping with reverence, awe and reverence, they were breaking that mood and they were spontaneously worshipping Raga Nuga Bhakti. So having rejected the mundane enjoyment, they were they were wandering in the spiritual Bengal, running on the roads with other devotees. So this was the mood of his devotees, which Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati had captured and in this poem. And giving up another's house and worshipping the Ganga, they danced gracefully with understanding of the workings of the rasa. So another's house means rented property. So you remember, they were renting the Ulta Danga, isn't it? So they left that rental property, another's house, and they got this place. They got this beautiful temple, Bagh Bazar Gaudiya Math. So this was about the Gaudiya Math. And after this temple was built, the mission became very wealthy, and many recruits also, many recruits they joined. So this parade which happened, 25,000 people, this parade attracted so much attention that a local movie theater, he replayed the film coverage. This coverage was done. So this film coverage for 9 consecutive days. For 9 consecutive days, this coverage was the local cinema theater replayed this film, and one at that on that day they had put a solid iron banister, because people were like, so many thousands of people were wanting to come inside the mutt, the Gaudiya new mutt. So they were pushing and pushing and pushing. That solid iron banister became bent. That much, that much people were so eager to come and join the festivities on that day. It was amazing day. So a lot more can be said. We'll go on, carry on. So here also on the in after a couple of years in 1930, he established another Gaudiya Math in Assam. The Assam preaching is also quite wonderful. And hundreds of people in Assam, they were so happy they became his disciples. Hundreds of them from Assam. So, and the same year, they also attended the Kumbh Mela in Prayag. He preached to millions of people, Kumbh Mela. He preached to them and he installed Radha Krishna deities and Roop Sanatan Gaudiya Math. So, there is Roop Sanatan Gaudiya Math there in Prayag. Okay. And we saw this couple of mutts when we went for this tour. It's a very beautiful place. And in 1931, another new Rupa Gaudiya Math at Confluence, at the Triveni Confluence, at that place also, there was another new one, Rupa Gaudiya Math. So he laid a foundation the next year. So, because right, Kumbh Mela, so many people come. So many, you can build more temples there. Because a lot of preaching can be done. So the next year in 1932, after the Braj Mandal Parikrama, they went to Haridwar. And then they laid a foundation for Saraswat Gaudiya Mutt. So every Gaudiya Mutt has its own name, you can see. So in 1933, there were regular lectures were being given at this Albert Hall. Albert Hall is very prestigious, Albert Hall there. You know that. And new centers were being opened everywhere. So many theistic exhibitions were held. And um, then what was done, a milestone was that was the completion of multi-volume Srimad Bhagavatam was published. And that then the crowning glory was when preachers were sent to the west. So now Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur embarked on this project of sending his disciple to the western world. So in 1935 he Sri Gadai Gauranga Mutt in a village near Dhaka was established. Then in the same year, there was this Sir John Anderson. You see that in the picture? Sir John Anderson. He visited Mayapur just to come and visit His Divine Grace Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. He came to the Chaitanya Mutt and he was welcomed by him. You can see that beautiful picture. Then Vyasa Puja was held in Puri this year, and that was attended by the Gajapati, the King Gajapati, Ramachandra Dev at that time. He attended the Vyas Puja. Can you imagine? Of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur? That was his power. And he established there. Then after that, the same year, he went to Gaya Gaudiya Mutt. It's a very small place. We went there also. But very nice environment. Very nice place. And then he established also the same year Kunja Bihari Gaudiya Mutt at Radha Kund. If devotees visited Radha Kund, they would have visited this Pushpa Samadhi of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. And of course, they have also Samadhi of Pushpa Samadhi of Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur there, the same place. That there he established the Kunja Bihari Gaudiya Mutt. Okay, so we are now proceeding towards the final pastimes of His Divine Grace, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, because in 1936 was his last year, 1937, January 1st, he left this world. So let us see his final pastimes. On January 1st of 1936, uh, he he told in a lecture that he told in a lecture that we should abide by anusaran and not anukaran. What is anusaran? Anusaran means to follow, and anukaran means to imitate. So we should always do anusaran of great devotees and not anukaran of great devotees. That means we should follow the great devotees, follow in the footsteps of great devotees, but not imitate the great devotees. Then in February of 1936, Vyasa Puja would be the final Vyasa Puja. The Vyasa Puja was celebrated at Srivas Angan at this time, and later he traveled to Calcutta after the Vyasa Puja was done. Then he went to Puri, then he went to Alalnath, then he went to Dhaka, then he went to Kurukshetra, then he went to Darjeeling, then he went to Mathura and Vrindavan. So you see how much he traveled. All this when he was having a heart problem. So he endured the heart problem, the complaint. And when the doctor told him, why don't you stop this continuously traveling and speaking like this? That when the doctor asked him, why are you not curtailing your continuous speaking? The doctor got a 1 hour lecture. So on what? On this topic. Life is meant for glorifying Hari. If that is stopped, what is the use of living? So when asked who would be the next Acharya, he said that an Acharya is Swayam Prakash. He cannot be appointed. I cannot appoint or you will be the next Acharya. Acharya will come. Swayam Prakash. Who is that? Our Srila Prabhupada. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So he also started the Bhaktivinoda Dhara. He said this Bhaktivinoda Dhara, like a stream, it should not be stopped. The need to preach. And this was he spoke during Bhaktivinoda Thakur's Tirobhav Mahamotsav. So he spoke, he said, you should not stop preaching at all, at any cost. So in this October 24th, what he did, he saw, you see in this, he saw Bhakti Sarang Goswami. Bhakti Sarang Goswami, who was setting sail to England, he was going to England by ship, and he told him, if possible, try to go to America after that. So the next 1.5 months, that means November, December almost, he lectured in Puri, and in these lectures, he indicated many times his time of departure has arrived. So his time of departure had arrived, and repeatedly he was venting his inner longing to reside at the foot of Govardhan. So these two one Ashtakam and one Dashakam, he would constantly sing only the two lines. One line was from the Govardhan Ashtakam by Srila Rupa Goswami. Pratyasham me tvam kuru Govardhana purnam. So please fulfill my desire. Oh Govardhan, please fulfill my desire. He wanted to always go and reside at the foot of Govardhan. And the next was from Govardhan Dashakam by Raghunath Das Goswami. Nija nikata nivasam dehi govardhanatvam. Please give me residence at your lotus feet, O Govardhan. So these are the two lines he would always keep on reciting repeatedly. Then each morning, Kirtan in his presence, there was what was sung was each morning after that was Shri Rupa Manjari Pada, which we sang last week. So Shri Rupa Manjari Pada was sung each morning in his presence. That was his favorite song. And then he moved from Jagannath Puri to Calcutta on December the 7th. And he started lecturing there. He was already very, very in his showing his final days pastimes, and he was lecturing non-stop. On December 18th, he spoke for a long time to Sundarananda Prabhu and a few Western devotees, and he was condemning the false discipleship. He was telling this false discipleship is no good, and that was his last talk before he was showing up his bedridden Leela. So then he was all the time from 1930. Now this is 1936, okay, towards the end. But how from 1930 already he was telling how he is going to leave this world. So in Ramananda Gaudiya Mutt in Kovur in 1930, he said the sun is about to set. You won't get delicious Mahaprasad like this in the future. Such a function will no longer be held. So he was giving indications. Then in 1932, in a lecture quoted in, that quote by Advaita Acharya telling Lord Chaitanya, please wind up your pastimes from the CC. I think you remember that. Rice is no longer whatever. So, and he quoted that song also, and the song of Avanti Brahmana. The Avanti Brahmana song was Bhagavan Hari, who contains within himself all the demigods, must be satisfied with me. It is he who has brought me to this suffering condition and forced me to experience detachment, which is the boat to carry me over this ocean of material life. So this was indication that he's going to leave soon. Then in 1935, regularly he was hinting in his lectures, his imminent passing. Often he quoted verses that stressed the uselessness of mundane attachment, and he frequently quoted, Madhava hama parinama nirasha. Oh Madhava, as a consequence of the distress experienced in trying to enjoy material life. Okay, this is actually written it somewhere. Okay, never mind. I think I didn't update the file. I will show you the file tomorrow. So this Madhav Hama Parinama Nirasha is from Tatala Saikate by Vidyapati. This Tatala Saikate is a very famous song. Most of us have heard it. Srila Prabhupada sings it very beautifully. So in that there is this verse, Madhava Hamapari Nama Nirasha. In that he's saying, Oh Madhava, oh Lord, because of trying to enjoy this material life, I have become so much distressed and I have become very forlorn. So it's so much nirasha in me. So in the same, he was in the same year actually, he was speaking to our Srila Prabhupada, same year. He was speaking to our Srila Prabhupada and he spoke about the quarreling among his disciples for material things. And he was also he was telling them it was giving him so much pain. Why they are quarreling like this for material things? Who will occupy which room? Like that in the mud. And then he predicted that Agun Jwali, that means fire will break out soon. Soon there will be something. And also, he highly appreciated Srila Prabhupada's poem. He urged him to speak in English language. So then the next year in Jagannath Puri, that is in 1936, which we were talking just now, he was approached by a senior judicial officer to do something beneficial for Puri. He was saying, you are such a great person. You can do something nice for Puri. So he said, the time of my departure has come. What can I do now? So that was his reply. So in 1936 already, he was indicating. He then openly chanted Nija Nikata Nivasam Dehi Govardhanatvam. Oh Govardhan, please give me a dwelling place close to you. And then he also said, all of you take to sincere Hari Bhajan. There are not many more days. Then he exhibited fever, having fever, shortly after December 18th, when he spoke, to that Sundarananda Prabhu and some of his Western disciples. After that, he exhibited some fever. And when the doctor tried to give him injection, he said, why are you disturbing me in this way? Simply chant Harinam. That's all. He said because of internal quarrels, his life was being shortened by 10 years. He would have he had lived some more 10 more years if there was no fighting going on. So on 23rd December, he gave his last address. So let's see what he wanted to tell everyone. He said, everyone should preach, everyone should remain united, and should live somehow or the other only for Hari Bhajan. In spite of all dangers, criticisms, discomforts, don't give up Hari Bhajan. Perform Hari Kirtan with humility. Bhakti Vinod Dhara will never stop. Our constitutional position is in every birth becomes the dust. What is our constitutional position is that in every birth we should become dust at the lotus feet of Rupa Raghunath. Our only motto is Adadhanastranam dante ridam yache puna puna Srimad Rupa Padamboja Dhuli Syam Janma Janmani. Taking grass between my teeth, I pray repeatedly that I may become a speck of dust at Sri Rupa Goswami's lotus feet, birth after birth. This is from Raghunath Das Goswami's Mukta Charita. When we are able to transcend, the fourth one is when we are able to transcend the position of attachment and detachment in this world of death and are attracted by the holy name, then only we can taste Krishna Sevaras. Let us never feel slightest dejection while engaged in the seven flamed Sankirtan Ras. The seven flamed Sankirtan Ras is very popular. You know that the first Chetodarpanam Arjanam Bhavamahadavagni Nirvapanam Shreya Kairava Chandrika Vitaranam Vidyavadhur Jivanam Ananda Mudivardhanam Pratipadam Purnamrita Swadanam Sarvatma Snapanam. So these seven flames of Sankirtan Yajna. So on December 24th, on not hearing sound, December 24th is like he's going to leave within a week's time. So on not hearing any sound of kirtan or lecture, he ordered that quickly resume it immediately because he was so sick and he was always on the bed. So the devotees were not doing it. So immediately he said, "You should. I need the kirtan to come on, let the kirtan be on." And on December 31st morning, this is the day before he left. On the 31st December morning, he asked his disciple Sridhar Maharaj to chant his favorite bhajan, Sri Rupa Manjari Pada. Next, he told Naveen Krishna Prabhu, Vidyalankar Prabhu, to chant Bhakti Vinod Thakur's song, Tuhu Daya Sagara Taraite Prani. Tomorrow we'll be singing this song, which is based on the second verse of Shikshashtakam. Who knows the second verse of Shikshashtakam? After Cheto Darpanamarjanam.
नाम नाम कार्य बहुधा निज सर्वशक्ति.
Very good. So this is the second verse of Shikshashtakam, and this Tuhudaya Sagara Tarate Prani is based on this verse. And upon hearing the last four lines, so tomorrow, devotees, please join for the kirtan. The last four lines of this, when he sang, he just did like this, clapped his hand to his forehead, and profuse tears were coming out from his eyes, decorating his cheeks. So we can see tomorrow what these last four lines were. So the final instructions to his disciples, we will see what is final. I think I'm overshot. We can do it tomorrow. We can conclude it tomorrow with so many instructions also. So I think we should stop here. Thank you, dear devotees, for joining me in this presentation. We'll meet again tomorrow. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances in this part. I
Hare
mean,
Krishna.
wonderful, no words to glorify your presentation.
Oh, please.
Very systematic, very organized.
So
Uh,
actually, this
you,
is from this book, Mataji. I don't know whether you. This is from this book, and
the what is the book called? I have seen it in boutique somewhere.
the Bhakti
Bhakti
Siddhanta Vaibhav. Bhakti
Bible.
Siddhanta Vaibhav. So I
But
just not. It
but
is not
you
to
did
my credit because everything I've copied from here. So
no,
I.
but still did a wonderful presentation. You know, even if you copied, there is so much details in that book. You've gone through it, and you're without any fumbling or doing a presentation. It's not an easy job. So kudos to you, and grateful that you shared all this information with so much enthusiasm and excitement, and which is contagious. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you so much, Mataji. All your blessings.
Thank you, Mataji. Danvat Pranam for such a wonderful class.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank
I
you.
have no words, but Mataji, one question. You said that Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur used to give, like he gave a lecture on the first verse of Srimad Bhagavatam for 1 month almost, like
Yeah,
by
more than
different,
1.5
yeah.
months.
So, are these penned down anywhere in some points in short or something?
Should be Mataji. Should be. I will look into it if you want. Maybe the books which um, Maharaj wrote, maybe it is there in that. I will have to look into it. And if you want the exact that one, I have to look into it, Mataji. I have not seen it anywhere.
No, no problem. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji. Great lecturing.
Thank you, Mataji. Nityasaki Mataji, thank you so much.
Hare Krishna, Mother.
Hare
So
Krishna.
nice.
Thank you,
Go
Prabhu.
ahead, Mataji.
No, Prabhuji, please you
Okay.
carry
Yeah.
on, Prabhu.
So I see I'm just as you, see the life of Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami, Maharaj, how he went through struggle, to establish a Vaishnava. It's not easy. You know, we see the, Jati Brahmanas or what you are talking about, right? The caste and all those things. It's not an easy struggle. And all throughout his life, I think it took a toll on his health also. His only one motive was that he was trying to differentiate between the caste and what is a Vaishnava. That's only if I could take that one thread out of that Vaishnava, greatness of Vaishnava, that he fought for that. And, to the extent of, people were coming and trying to attack him and whatnot, he went through such a, there. When we see that, Srila Prabhupada talks to us and we understand, we don't know the, trouble or,
Yes.
he has gone through that.
Yeah.
I didn't have that details, and Mataji, very nice. I think it gives at least some gratitude we should have, and what we got it now, where we
Yes.
are today, right? Thank you,
Yes.
Mataji. Hare
Thank you.
Krishna.
Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Very wonderful class.
Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Mataji.
Krishna,
Sandus
Mataji.
Pranam. Thank,
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
thank you, Mataji, for so wonderful class.
Thank you,
माताजी
Mataji.
मुझे ये पूछना था कि उनके जो भक्ति विनोदा ठाकुर जी के दूसरे भी जो संत थे उन्होंने भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती ठाकुर जी को सपोर्ट किया था कि नहीं किया था?
हाँ,
उनके
हाँ,
बारे में नहीं आता है, वो भी सब साथ में थे?
हाँ, हाँ, सब डिवोटीज ही थे।
अच्छा,
वो ललित प्रसाद करके है ना, वहाँ भी अभी उनका वो जो भक्ति विनोद ठाकुर का जो उलाग्राम में जो घर है, जो भक्ति विनोद ठाकुर के आई थिंक मैटरनल घर है वहाँ पे, तो उलाग्राम करके कलकत्ता से थोड़ा ही दूर है, 1 आवर आई थिंक फ्रॉम कलकत्ता। सो वहाँ पे भी हम लोग गए थे, वहाँ उनका बर्थ प्लेस है, भक्ति विनोद ठाकुर का बर्थ प्लेस उलाग्राम में। तो वहाँ पे वो रहते थे ललित प्रसाद, वो भी ऐसे ही प्रीचिंग करते थे और उनका घर है वहाँ पे, और उन्होंने भी संन्यास लिया था। और वैसे ये तो मैं जानती हूँ, बाकी के डिटेल्स मैं नहीं जानती हूँ बाकी के डिवोटीज का, बच्चों का, पर surely they were all, but Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur was very, वो तो मांग के आए हैं ना, he is a ray of Vishnu and प्रसाद of बिमला देवी, so ये जगन्नाथ जी का कृपा है, तो इसी के लिए he is a, what Bhaktivinoda Thakur said, personal staff. I want somebody from your personal staff, he told Krishna. So from his personal staff he has sent Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. तो इसलिए इट्स वेरी, वी आर कॉन्सेंट्रेटिंग ऑन।
yes Mataji, so wonderful, thank you so much.
थैंक यू माता जी।
Hare Krishna
Thank you,
Mataji.
Mataji.
Thank you so much
Wonderful.
for a wonderful class, Mataji. Very, very inspiring. So much
थैंक यू,
you have taken us through about the Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. The
थैंक यू।
one point, basically, I was always inspired with this Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur's about the Charitra. Though Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur is a scholarly person, he is English and all not able to read for me personally, not able to understand. Such a scholarly person, though he went and taken the shelter of Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj, so he is materially Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj, especially not able to read and write the English and all in the illiterate level. Still he was there, but still he is teaching us in this material world, Manne, Dhana, Abhijana, Rupa, Tapa, Sruta, Ojasa, these things are not matters in front of the spiritual education. So that is what Krishna. So we're learning, so we should be more humble with our little bit of money, little bit of wealth, little bit of knowledge is not going to work anyway in the spiritual. path. So these things will not please Krishna happy, or only the meek and humbleness is the only thing it will please Krishna. It's always inspired by Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur's Charitra Mata. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu. We covered this also in our past lecture yeah,
Yeah,
last week.
Mata, sorry, I missed that one. Looks like, sorry about that one. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you, Mataji. Wonderful.
Thank you, Harsha
Very
Mataji.
enjoyable. Lot to learn from this. We got first time I heard all this. Thank you.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you.
Mataji, personal
Yeah.
question, like not personal. How many hours did you actually read and understand? Like, did you just for my sake, I'm trying to understand how much information you grasp. Like,
No,
it's a lot.
actually, this time was just a revision for me because I had already presented this a few years back. So that time I had done a full study on this book. But this time I was just a revision because all the PowerPoint slides were there with me. And research already I had done for the pictures. And so
So
I
this
was just,
person you have spent a lot of time understanding and
yeah, first
researching.
time around 1 month I took to read the book, Mataji.
Very nice. Dedication, amazing.
Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare
So
Krishna.
nice, a
Thank,
chronologically presented topic, life history of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati.
thank you.
Lot of inspiration. Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srila Prabhupada only is guiding all of us. So nothing I can say is mine, just whatever is there in the book, I'm repeating. Thank you so much for the chance given to me. So we should do the Narsimha prayers, Prabhu.
Yes, yes, Mataji. Thank you very much for nicely bringing out the various facts and what Rajiv Prabhuji was trying to mention. You have already covered. The biggest quality of a Vaishnava is humbleness. If somebody tells us to tell one most prominent quality of a Vaishnava, then all the acharyas have said that it is humbleness only. And it is humbleness only which wins the case for the Vaishnavas. Like here we saw Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, how he faced the other opposition people who opposed him. Even I don't know, I have not been attending regularly. If you have covered about the Vrindavan Yatra, which he had started, and how much opposition he met because the foreign devotees were there. Like this, everywhere he met with opposition, but that is the way these all our previous acharyas have done. Even Srila Prabhupada also, he faced so much opposition, but still then he kept on doing his task, and we see the position of ISKCON where it is, and this is very, very important. Thank you very much for covering all these things so nicely, and tomorrow we'll hear the concluding part, and next weekend next weekend, I am thinking of starting with Srinivas Acharya. Let us see. And on this occasion also, I want to thank all the devotees for praying for my wife. She was operated yesterday and now in the ICU. Today, she will be shifted to the cabin, and she's all fine, and there is no problem on anything. Thank you very much for praying to the Supreme Lord, to Lord Krishna and Nrsingadev for taking out, for nullifying all the obstacles on the way. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you very much. So, Samta Mataji, she left. Mataji, want to do Narsimha prayers? Ah. Anybody wants to do Narsimha prayers before we close?
Yes, Mataji. May I do?
Yes, please, Mataji.
Yes, Mataji. I don't know. Samta Mataji is there. नहीं बोल रहे कुछ. I don't know. Okay, मैं करती हूँ माताजी.
Hare Krishna, Mataji, you please continue. I am in some seva, please.
Okay. Thank you, Mataji. Namaste Narasimhaya. Namaste Narasimhaya. प्रह्लादलाददायिने प्रह्लादलाददायिने हिरण्यकशिपूर्वक्षः हिरण्यकशिपूर्वक्षः शीलटङ्कानखालाये शीलटङ्कानखालाये इतो नरसिंह परतो नरसिंह इतो नरसिंह परतो नरसिंह यतो यामि ततो नरसिंह यतो यामि ततो नरसिंह बहिर्नरसिंह हृदये नरसिंह बहिर्नरसिंह हृदये नरसिंह नरसिंहमदिं शरणं प्रपदे तव करकमलव दलिता हिरण्यकशिपु तनुभृङ्गा केशवधृता नरहरिरूपा जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे जय हो नरसिंहदेव 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 जय हो नरसिंहदेव जय हो प्रहलाद महाराज प्रहलाद महाराज प्रहलाद महाराज जय हो प्रहलाद महाराज जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 जय जय प्रभुपाद जय जय गुरुदेव 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 जय जय गुरुदेव श्री श्री लक्ष्मी नरसिंह भगवान की जय हो भक्त शिरोमणि प्रहलाद महाराज की जय हो श्री भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती ठाकुर की जय हो
जय जय
थैंक यू माता जी हरे कृष्ण
वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यश्च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः. Thank you, dear devotees. We'll meet again tomorrow. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji.
Dandvat pranam to all devotees. Prabhuji, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. Very wonderful class. And glad to hear Sarat Prabhu, all is fine. Haribol.
Haribol. Thank you.
Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.